two, and one. I see Zoe is tracking in silence. I see Mariah is tracking in silence. And I see Chad. That's usually how we pull all of our students back to attention. So as you can see, your scholars got silent, they started tracking the speaker. And that is so we can make sure there's only one voice. We are going to get started as families keep funneling in. There's one change to our school this year that I want to highlight first. We have switched from Red Foods to School Foods to DOE. And so I have a DOE representative from School Foods who would like to come and tell you a little bit about the program before we jump into the rest of back to school.
Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Amanda Rodriguez. I'm the Assistant Supervisor for District 17. I work with Renee Harris. She is the main supervisor of this district. And I just wanted to give you guys a little information about School Foods as a whole. So, School Foods is now technically known as the Office of Food and Nutrition Services, but School Foods is way easier. So, the overview is that I'll let you know what our middle programs are.
Hey, how you doing? Good.
I'll get some feedback.
You can sit over there.
And I'll also inform you about how we get feedback from the students as well. So the DOE food program overviews, they have about 20, can you guys see? Okay. They have about 26 menus, over 500 recipes. We're feeding over 1 million students every single day. That's breakfast, lunch, and we have supper programs as well as after-school programs. We have student taste testing. So some schools can be selected if the principal is interested and let us know, and we can have we can set up taste testing for the students. They can go to our headquarters, test out new products, give us their feedback, and who knows, it might show up in next year or next month's menu. Our breakfast menu features seasonal fruit, local dairy, whole grain items, low-fat items, and no sugary fruit juices. The mayor has told us that he no longer wants to serve our kids that, and we stand by her. Our lunch menu has some cool options. On Mondays, we have meatless Mondays, and on Fridays, we have our plant-powered Fridays, which is a great opportunity for our students to learn how to incorporate fruits and vegetables into their meal or breakfast, lunch, whatever it is. We offer salad bar every single day. It's out on the line. We cannot offer a second meal to the students. However, we have salad bar open, and if they want multiple fruit, they can go up and ask for fruit. They can eat salad bar whenever they want. We replenish it throughout the day, and that should hopefully help them stay full for the remainder of the day. As I spoke before, we have our plant powered Fridays, which are great. We just started a sweet potato gumbo, which is absolutely delicious. Highly recommend. And most of our lunches for plant powered Fridays, the grain would be rice, because most of our biscuits contain items that do not be vegetarian or vegan friendly. Our nutritional standards, we have a My Plate that we post in every school. It shows how we expect them plates to look like at the end of the day. They will get a grain, a meat or meat alternate, a fruit, and a vegetable. This is just an overview. For breakfast, we have grain, Some of our sites do have CEE experience, which is cafeteria enhancement. Students have the opportunity to come up, grab what they would like from a refrigerated or heated unit, and head back to their table. Does anyone have any questions?
Do you want me to switch from video to phone? Or just make sure you want me to stay on video mode or take pictures too? Doesn't matter. Okay.
That's video because we're going to put it up in the space for it.
All right. Thank you.
So our menus change between 2 to 3 times a week. We have a cycle. It cycles through, so every 2 to 3 weeks it'll change and it'll revert back. So the menu is actually on our website. If you go to schools.nyc.gov, you can see the menu and it's posted on there, and you guys can look at it whenever you need to.
And it's going to be posted on the space flyer as well. But we're going to get into that later.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Well, there's some snacks in the back if you guys are interested, and I have some flyers or little pamphlets if you guys want to look through and get to understand school foods a little bit better. Okay? Thank you very much.
Send some shine. Thank you so much. And so once again, welcome to our back to school night. I'm going to set a timer for myself because if you know me, you should know I can talk forever. And so I'm going to set a timer to make sure that you guys are getting up to your tours and you'll be able to have some one-on-one conversations with your scholars teachers. I am so excited to invite you into our school. This is the very first time that you guys, for some of you, are touring our school and you're seeing our classrooms. And so I'm excited to welcome you into our home, and it's your scholar's second home. They spend a lot of time here, some more than others. And so, as some of you may know, we've had a principal change. This is our new principal, Mr. Ford, and unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. He had an emergency to attend to, and when I say he was texting me, broken-hearted, that he couldn't be here for the very first time you're experiencing Voyager, but I had to let him know that he had to stay home to take care of his family. And so, there'll be plenty of opportunity for you guys to meet him. I'm gonna save this slide for when you do meet him at pastries with the principal at some point. And so you can have those conversations, and I'm gonna let him talk for himself. And so, besides Mr. Ford, our principal, we have a very robust leadership team, and they're our village, right? So it takes a village to raise a child, and we have over 150 children. So you can imagine it takes a lot of people to help guide not only teachers, but students on their path. And so let me introduce you to some of us. And leaders, when you hear your name, raise your hand, smile, so the families can see who you are. First is me. I'm the Director of Operations. Hi guys, I'm Ms. Renaud. I'm happy to see new faces in all. And then in the back we have Mr. Saunders. He's our Dean of Culture. We have Ms. Clark, who is our new Dean of STEM, that is math and science, y'all. We have Ms. Brewster, who was still upstairs, actually helping me set up some more snacks for you guys, I'm not gonna lie. She's our Dean of Special Services. We have a brand new ELA Dean, Ms. Ellington in the back. We have our History Dean, Mr. Stafford. Hey! He's a favorite. And then joining our leadership team, we have Ms. Langley, who is going to be doing our guided reading. She leads our library. She's taking care of everything reading related. Is she in here? She's also upstairs still helping set up. And so these are the leaders of our school. I want to give you a glimpse into our schedule. Take a minute and read. This is how we'll be spending our time today. So I want to start with this overarching question of why are we here? And so Jasmine, loud and proud, I would love for you to read our AF mission statement to every single person in this cafeteria, which means they gotta hear your voice all the way into the back.
Our mission is to deliver on the promise of equal education opportunities for all of American children. We know that every child, regardless of race, zip code, or economic status, deserves access to great schools. At Achievement First, our students realize their potential and develop the skills that they need to graduate from college, succeed in competitive world, and serve as the next generation of leaders in our community.
Mr. Saunders, can you read this quote in your very loud voice?
We exist to empower our Black and brown students to be the future leaders and change makers of our country and our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this moment, we only exist for your scholars here. Our job, if we're doing it correctly, is to help guide those future change makers and those future leaders of our world and our communities. And so I'm not just saying it because I work at this school, but I truly believe that we have these scholars to make the changes that we want to see right now in our current community. These are the values that we have as an overarching values. However, it's not always wise to go after everything at once, and so we do need to focus where we're going this year. As you can see, leading for racial equity is not on this slide. And that is because, even as a part of our mission, as Jasmine just read from us, it's in the fabric of every single thing we do. We are here to educate our Black and brown scholars. Our systems reflect us leading for racial equity, and so we actually don't need it up here as a value to guide us. It's in our foundation. It's in how we care for our children. And so, we must do both of these things: embrace challenge, strive for excellence, to make sure that we are truly living out our mission and values at our school. But we're gonna get a little more granular here as I talk about our Voyager specific Year 8 vision. And so, we have to intentionally, every single day, make sure that we are creating, cultivating a culture of understanding. And what that means is we will intentionally cultivate a student culture that is rooted in increased awareness in not only in yourself, but also in others. The other priority for our year is that we will intentionally cultivate an academic culture where we actively gain a deep understanding for the types of learners we serve and actively choose to provide the specific supports they need to thrive. Every one of your scholars are not the same. They may be Black and brown, but individually they are different. They learn different. And so we have to intentionally make sure that we are targeting every single student's learning needs to build those future change makers, to build those future learners, right? And so these are our top two priorities here at Voyager. And so while cultivating the culture of understanding, why does this even matter? Why does this priority even matter? I'm not gonna cold call, I'm gonna ask for hands. Why does this priority matter? Ooh, I see Mariah already has a strong hand up. And she's in 6th grade. So go ahead and stand up loud and proud. They want to hear you over here in the front.
That's not loud.
This priority is important because we want to make the schools safe for others, and we want new students to come and feel safe, and so we can make safe community.
Everybody says some shots to Mariah. Come on, girl, you did a great job. She's right. Because at the end of the day, as your scholars are moving from grade to grade, and they're moving into their next phase of life, we have to once again be intentional about our academic systems, be intentional about our curriculum, about creating our culture. And that leaves me with Mr. Saunders, who's going to talk about the student culture.
All right, everybody, when I say team, I want you to say yes, yes, but I want you to match my cadence. Team. Yes. All right, team. Yes. Team.
Yes.
Team.
Yes. Yes.
Team. 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 All right. Okay, welcome to Voyager families. My name is Mr. Saunders. I am the Dean of Culture and a Principal Fellow here at Voyager Middle School. Thank you for coming out today. My job is to create the systems and the culture that set students up for success. So whether that is lunch routines, reflection, whether that's the joy events, the trips, whatever that is, my main priority is to make sure that this is a space where students know what is expected of them, they can deliver on that, be held accountable, and also it's just a safe space and a place for them to have fun. So we're going to talk about some of the ways we celebrate kids. Our way to celebrate scholars is by giving miles. So anytime our scholars is showing one of our values that Ms. Renaud was just talking about, whether it's leading for racial equity, striving for excellence, embracing challenge, care for the whole person, choose joy or go further together, we give them miles. Those miles add up to their scholar dollar balance, right? So at the end of the year, they can have 4,000 scholar miles, and they can dig into that bank to get a bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning, or to get certain reward passes. And that's the way that we celebrate them. Also, weekly, we have things called captains. So there's ways that we rank students according to the amount of miles that they have, and they get certain rewards. So if you ever saw your scholar come home with a dress down pass or a shoe down pass, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, those are what they get because of the miles that they receive. Okay, so we also have a house system, which means that your scholar is either in the house of light or the house of power. What happens is every Friday they have competitions. Tomorrow they're having a layup competition. In 2 weeks they're having a dodgeball competition. And at the end of the year, whichever house wins, they'll go on a trip. Last year, our scholars went to Area 53. Raise your hand if you were in the House of Light and you went to Area 53 last year. Okay, all right. For the house that doesn't win, they don't stay here and they read books and do math. We do have some type of fun activity for them, but they do stay back while the winning house will go on a trip. This year, I haven't announced where we're going yet. It may be near or it may be far, but be looking out for that from your students and on Parent Square. Make sure that you get set up with Parent Square before you leave today if you're not already. Okay, so can you read this for me loud and proud, Marvin, so that the whole room can hear you?
We are a school that prioritizes joy, but we also hold scholars to a high bar by giving feedback when it's needed.
So as much as we give miles, we give celebrations, we have house hype on Fridays to celebrate our flight captains, we also have a high bar because just as much as other scholars in other parts of the world, of other cultures are held to high bars because they're capable, our scholars are just as capable. And we do that by holding them accountable. When scholars don't meet our bar, we give them feedback. They either get a community breach for safety or for learning. The reason why it's called a community breach is because it is a breach of our community norms that we talk about.
I know we have water bottles.
Either get a breach for horseplay, unarmed location, being off task, disruption to learning, or having your head down in class, which interrupts you. But we understand that nobody is perfect. We as adults aren't perfect. We don't expect our kids to be perfect. So before we give that breach, we give every single scholar 2 reminders. Hey, this is your first reminder. Hey, this is your second reminder. Get back on task. and then, hey, this is a breach for instructional learning. You got to make sure that you get back to the task at hand. So every scholar is given multiple opportunities, and I really want to highlight this. If your scholar has reflection the next day, that means that they got 3 breaches. So what that means is that they got 9 reminders within a day. Okay? So it's not a teacher is correcting you 3 times, so you got 3 breaches, so you got reflection the next day. You got 2 reminders of breach 3 times, so that's 9 reminders to get back on task. So that means we got to do some work to reflect on why you had to be reminded that amount of times to meet our community norms that you already knew about back in August. Highlights for reflection. We have reflection every day. You'll get a message on Parent Square. So if your scholar would have gotten reflection today because they got 3 breaches, you'll get a message on Parent Square tonight or by 5:30, around 6. And then they'll have that reflection the next day from 3:40 to 4:15. Any questions about community reflection? Yes, right here.
Sorry, is there a chance negotiable for the kids to make up throughout the day to earn miles, even though they have like a police or warning or something?
Absolutely. So one good thing about Voyager is if a scholar gets a breach, it doesn't take away from the miles they have. So if you earned 111 miles and it's Thursday and you was working hard all day and you just had a rough day on Thursday, we don't take from that 111. We just give you the feedback. And yes, you will have reflection the next day if you get 3, but you still keep that 111 and whatever you earn on that Thursday. Okay? Good question. Any other question? I'll take one more. All right. All right, really quick on uniform, because I know especially our returning parents, you might have been like taken aback a little bit if your scholar had black and white sneakers and we pushed back on that. Last year we did expect, and I know I'm skipping the other things because you know Voyager Polar, sweatshirt, cardigan, black pants. They can have a skirt or shorts, but it has to be knee length and it has to be pant material. And then lastly, for your sneakers, right? They have to be all black. So last year we had a little wriggle room. It was black and white or black and gray. But then that turned to black and pink, black and orange, black and yellow, right? So we want to have consistency. We don't want one scholar to pass with black and light blue because it's not that loud. And then we're telling the scholar that has black and pink that it's not okay. So we want to be fair. All right? So my last thing, because Ms. Renault is kicking me out of here. We are a school that focuses on social emotional learning. That is super important for us. And that has a lot to do with your social skills, how you interact with yourself, your social awareness, but also with others. And within that, we are really going after, even more than last year, bullying. Okay? You might have gotten a call already, a text already, about some things that we saw that were concerning. It's because we're really going after making sure there's a Voyager is a safe space for all of our scholars. Okay? And lastly, we need your help. If you see anything, you see a text thread, please go through your scholars' phones. Please. Okay? If you see something that's concerning about another one of their friends that goes here, hit me up. Hit Ms. Dollison up. Okay? Because we really want to go after it so we can nip that culture in the bud. I appreciate your time, and I'm handing it back to Ms. Renault.
Thank you, Mr. Saunders. I just want to hit on the very last thing Mr. Saunders said. On the very last thing Mr. Saunders said. And we are community, and we are a village. We absolutely need you families to clue us into what's going on with your scholars. We're not privy to the conversations that happen at home, right? Or maybe the drama that happens around dinner time. But if there is something, some suspicious activity, you hear your scholar talking about someone in her class getting bullied, or someone saying something is going to happen in school, please, please, please let us know, because we cannot do this work without you. Okay, let's get into some of our communication. We have a few apps and websites, not too many, that you absolutely must have in order to engage with us here at Voyager. Our very first one is Kickboard. Mr. Saunders was just talking about the culture, the reminders, the breaches, the miles. This is where you'll be able to see your scholars' progress as they're in our school according to our culture. In your folders, you have a sheet with your kickboard access codes. In order for you to gain access to your scholar's dashboard, you have to make sure that you are going in, following the directions, and activating your Kickboard family account. If you are having issues, you can contact Mr. Watts. His information is on this sheet. We also have a QR code for you guys to scan for Parent Square. I know Mr. Saunders mentioned it earlier, but it's actually really important for you guys to get Parent Square. If school is closing and we need to cancel it morning of, I'm only gonna send that message via Parent Square. We have over 150 students in our school, and the phone tree is just not gonna make it in 2023. So you need Parent Square. This is also where you'll sign your field trips, permission slips, and so you wanna make sure that if you want your scholar to go to that house event, you wanna make sure you have Parent Square so you can schedule your report card night meetings. You want to make sure that you have this activated because you absolutely need this for our communication. And then we have our space flyer. I personally love our space flyer, not because I created it, but because it has all of the relevant information that you need for your scholars in there. This is where you're going to find the upcoming dress down days. We have safety reminders, transportation, soon to come senior updates, working papers. This is where you find everything. In your folder, there's another QR code because we want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to access the information, for you to scan, and I need you to bookmark this link. There's also a way for you guys to create a shortcut on your phones so it's just on your screen, and just like an app, you can click it and it'll just pop up refreshed. You can just bug me after this and I can show you how to do it on your phones. Whew. Campus portal. In order to see your scholars' attendance, in order to see their grades, you have to get campus portal as well. This is updated daily, so if your scholar was late or if they're absent, not only are you going to get a call from us, but you're also going to be able to see it on campus portal. Our teachers are working really hard to ensure that grades are in every single week. And so, if you see that a homework is missing, right, the grades don't quite look to your scholar's potential, then you can reach out to your scholar's advisor and say, hey, I don't know what's going on in science right now, but I need some help. And then you'll be able to speak to the teacher. We can work out with your scholar to figure out how to get them back on track. So you also need this. I'm voicing this over, but all of this is in your folders, I promise. And so, with that, I'm going to dismiss you guys, like we dismiss our scholars, to go upstairs for your teachers' presentations. This is the fun part. You get to get out of these hot rooms, this hot cafeteria. You get to go upstairs and see all of your teachers' hard work presentations. So, when I say go, no one move yet. I love a theme. We the aviators, I love a theme. Okay? When I say go, if your family is in 6th grade, you are going to stand up. You see Miss Langley waving her hand in the back, and you are going to follow her. Not yet. When I say go, not yet. Thank you, appreciate you. 7th graders, when I say go, you are going to meet Miss Suleiman at the exit over there. 8th grade families, unfortunately you have to stay here with me a little bit longer, so